Hello, welcome to Shine Love and Light On. Today we're talking about aging, and I've got Jacqueline Perez with me, all the way from the US. She is a voice for women in the space of feeling great in the second half of their life, I guess. You've got a really beautiful way of describing it, Jack. Do you want to take over and introduce yourself to us?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Penny, for inviting me to share this space with you. I'm honored to be a guest. My name is Jacqueline Perez, but I go by Jack. And I'm 50. No, I'm 56. I actually don't have trouble saying that. But in my early 50s, this weird thing happened to me, Penny. I started to feel like I was becoming invisible, and I didn't like what I saw reflected back to me in the mirror. All I kept seeing was like the latest sag or the newest wrinkle. And, and then at the same time, I felt like I wasn't turning heads anymore. People weren't listening to me. And to be honest with you, I think it was a combination of that does happen, but I also started to show up smaller and smaller because I was unhappy with what I was seeing and I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. And, I remember my mom when she got older, she didn't like to be in photographs, and I've always loved to be in front of the camera. I mean, if a friend brings out a camera, woohoo, hi, and I started to notice that I was less happy about a camera, more hesitant, maybe opting to be in the back row or, and I'm, not center, right? Not center stage. And I realized that I have a lot of life left to live. And it was not going to work for me to live small because I haven't lived small up until now. And it didn't feel good to me. I started to look on the internet to see about information because I was also struggling with menopause. I had a very tough time. There was a few years there where I just couldn't figure it out. I had gained all this crazy weight in my middle. I looked like a Shar-Pei puppy, that you could pick up. Cute on a puppy, not cute on a middle-aged woman. Just not. I wasn't wearing,
I think.
no, I wasn't wearing it well. So, and I started to look for information because I felt alone. Very little information I found out there. Mm-hmm. Started talking to my friends, girlfriends that are in the same age demographic. Realized that they were feeling much the same way that I was feeling. So I decided to build it for myself. Couldn't find it, so I built it. And that's how I built, or that is why I built the platform Kuel Life, which is spelled with a K. I know it's crazy. It's Kuel, right? Life. And I built that because I wanted to build a space where we can normalize menopause, normalize empty nest syndrome, normalize the quote sandwich generation feeling where you're dealing with your aging, dying parents and you also have teenagers and you're stuck in the middle. I want us to be able to talk about those things. I want us to have experts and resources and support. I want that for us now that we're in midlife, for us specifically, but more importantly, Penny, I want to make it so that our younger sisters, by the time they get here, they have something else to solve. They can solve some other problem. It's not about not seeing, gray-haired, plumper women, in media ads or on billboards or in skincare. When we see a product that is targeted to someone in our demographic, but the person selling it is a 20-year-old model, I question, what is going on? Mm-hmm. I want to see me. I want to see, other women that are like me, and I want to be represented. And the only way we're going to do that is if we make noise and we're heard, because the big brands need to know that we're out here. And the crazy part, Penny, is that we own most of the money. Even though women get paid less than men, right? We still own most of the money in the world, even though we get paid less than men. How do we do that? I'm not quite sure, but that's the truth.
So is that like a control with actually the purchaser?
Yeah, and we make most of the purchasing decisions. And I'm not talking brand of toothpaste or toilet paper. I'm talking, cars, vacations, homes, big ticket items that big brands need to start realizing. If you start ignoring me, I'm taking my money somewhere else. And so that's why I built it. That is my hope. That is my vision. crazy as it seems. But the other thing I will know I have arrived when Merriam-Webster spells cool instead of Cool, Kuel. Then I'll know.
You'll have to tell me. Merriam-Webster sounds familiar, but who exactly is she?
It's the dictionary,
Oh,
Merriam-Webster.
there we go. There you
That's
go.
why it sounds familiar. It's the dictionary. It's the official dictionary.
Ah, so interesting. At least it's the name of the woman. I like that. Yeah, so brilliant. So you started this platform. You've also emerged on Clubhouse, which I've only just kind of started to play in, which I think is really interesting because I think people think and women, as we get older, we lose confidence in technology and an ability to keep up to date with what's latest. Like our kids are always on the newest app, and how do we parent them when they keep changing and what's new? But here you are, again, creating a voice for women in this age group and this part of life. So do you want to quickly tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I started in Clubhouse in January. It's still in beta, so it's invite only, and it's only for Apple users right now. Although I hear Android, the Android version is coming out soon, but I don't know about that. But anyway, yeah, I started in January, which that's not a long time ago in like real world time, but in Clubhouse time, it might as well have been like 600 years ago. Because when I first got on, there was only one other small group really working on the midlife space for women and promoting the midlife space for women. And then I came on, and we immediately met and immediately decided we needed to collaborate and make sure that we spread the word as much as possible, and we're very inclusive. So we started doing that, and I started a room, and I hosted every day, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what time that is for you in
I think
Australia.
it's 6 a.m.
Is it 6 a.m.?
Yeah.
Yeah, people are up at 6 a.m.,
Yeah,
especially in
up.
women. You got up at what, 5 this morning?
See, it's possible.
You should come on one of my rooms.
I'll come. Definitely.
I would love that. So you can actually get on the schedule by going to secondactsisters.club, CLUB, and in there's a calendar. So please do that, Penny. I would love to share that space.
Well done.
So, yeah, so I have a club now. This past weekend, they finally opened up the ability for people to make clubs. So I have the Second Act Sisters Club, and now I run that room under that club. And what's really great is that other groups of women are starting to run rooms as well under that club. So it's starting to get a bigger and bigger footprint, which is wonderful. Which is great, because the more women get together and talk, and you know how women are. I mean, immediately you start talking and you get to the real stuff. There's very little fluff when 2 women get in a room. Imagine 30, 40, 50, 60 women. We talk about everything that you can think of: menopause, intuition, trends and style. I mean, do you know what I mean? Because we're very multidimensional, and there's so many things that we're interested in and continue to be interested in even as we age. We didn't stop caring about clothing or how we look or our skincare just because we're 45 or 55 or 65 or 70. So it's really great. It's a great app.
So it's basically a chat room, I guess, isn't it? For those that haven't had a chance to explore it. But I think what's exciting is you're at that cutting edge of new technology and putting this footprint for women to be heard and can meet, because I mean that's what's brilliant about it as well. So
yeah,
cool.
I've made some very significant relationships in a very short period of time, because you can develop relationships through other social media platforms. I have relationships through Facebook and Instagram. They took a lot longer to develop because you're looking at a flat image and then a well-crafted written whatever it is, either a response or an original little story, but people take their time and they put the right word and the right, grammar. But on Clubhouse, literally it's what comes out of your mouth. And so it's a very short distance between connection points, because you immediately know whether you're connecting to somebody else or not. They either resonate with you or it lands well with you. And what's really great about that platform is that you can immediately get into their profile, see who they are, And if they interest you, you can connect with them off of the platform. I say this in every one of my rooms. The sparks start in Clubhouse, but the real magic happens off the platform, which is great. It's a wonderful vehicle.
Yeah, it's exciting. Since some people won't have it, let's not spend too much time on it. But I really love talking about, why is this such a taboo area? Like, why has it emerged that we don't want to talk about aging? And love your opinion on this. Yeah, what is it that perhaps women feel shame about, or what do you think in society has created this kind of taboo nature that, yeah, you and I are really keen to see kind of stripped back?
Yeah, the honestly, I think in a lot of ways it has to do with biology. When we lose our ability to make life, whether you decided to use it or not, I'm not saying that you had to be a mom, but at some point in time, every woman loses her fertility. Every woman. A man never loses his fertility. Never. And for whatever reason, and I think it's biology, I think men are constantly looking for a place to plant a seed. And when we no longer have the vehicle by which, a seed can grow, and I think that's part of the reason that we start to disappear from, from a sexuality standpoint. We stop being desirable to men because we no longer are fertile. And it's not conscious. I mean, it's not conscious at all. It's propagating humanity. I mean, if they didn't behave that way to begin with, we would have been in trouble. But the thing is, we don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Right? We don't need to do that anymore. And I think women are now living a lot longer. We have a lot more resources and technology. You can choose how you want to age. You can choose to go gray. You can choose to accept the wonders of the wrinkles and the laugh lines and the texture of your skin if you want, because you're wearing it like a badge, and to you it makes you feel good and wise. But you can choose to age differently. You can color your hair. You can use Botox and fillers and facials. And either one is okay. I mean, either one should be supported. Either one should be completely embraced by all of us. But and I think that from a societal standpoint, the more noise we make and the more we raise our hands and say, look, I'm going to wear a mini skirt because I have rockin' legs. Like, what if you were Tina Turner, right? She, even at like 70, her legs were flipping amazing, right? So, and I think we need to feel comfortable still showcasing what we love about ourselves and what feels good about ourselves, and and just be out there in the world and just showcase ourselves in a way that we don't need to disappear. And I finally, thank goodness, realized that. But it took me a couple of years to get comfortable with what I was seeing was the quote new me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I'm wondering, do you feel is it because there's no role models for us? I was talking about relationships a couple of weeks ago with someone else, and one of the things is there aren't role models in Hollywood or even in sort of storytelling necessarily that really give us a guide to how can it be done. And I know it's starting to change, but yeah, you don't necessarily see a news presenter who's older woman, or a leading actress who hasn't been made to look a particular way against her age necessarily, those sorts of things. So do you think that's sort of compounding the message for women that you're no longer good enough unless you're young?
100%, right? Which is what I was talking about earlier about normalizing aging and creating space for women that look like us. Like, like I was saying about the product, if you're selling me Depends, please don't try to tell me this 30-year-old model has continence or is incontinent. I mean, don't try to tell me that unless something's wrong with her. But if you're trying to sell a product, use the right age demographic to reach the right age demographic, because it's insulting. It's insulting to be shown an anti-aging cream on a model who has no wrinkles.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it?
That doesn't help me.
And what about the lady who wants to be the model at 80 or whatever? Like, give her a chance too.
Exactly, because no matter how much serum I put on my face, I'm not going to look like that 30-year-old. Not going to happen. Not anymore, because I passed 30 a very long time ago. So yes, I think we need to see ourselves represented. And that is slowly changing, but we need to make it change faster because I'm running out of time. I'm not going to be here forever, and it needs to change now. So
So tell me, what, other than, joining your kind of platform and following you, what sort of things can women be doing just day to day to notice this is happening and take a sort of personal stand, I guess? Or yeah, what do you think are some actions maybe you took or you're seeing other women take that we can kind of bring to Australia?
talk to your friends. I think, it's so interesting. It's like we will talk about almost anything, but I realized that we weren't really talking about feeling like we were becoming invisible. We weren't raising our voices. And now that, talk to your friends about that. If you raise your hand, I bet dollars to donuts, they feel the same way, your women friends. And make it a point to, be empowering and to other women, and put your money where your mouth is. If you have an option to buy something from a woman driven brand, from another woman, an entrepreneur, then, and not at the expense of quality or what you want, but I'm saying if there is an option and a choice, make that choice. Make the choice to participate in and help out your fellow woman. That's, and the more we do that, the more we link arms and the more we raise our voices together, by definition, we outnumber every other cohort in the world right now. Women 45 plus, sheer numbers, we have the biggest population. Imagine if we all made noise. We can't be ignored. So
it's interesting. It's almost like we're a bit of a threat then, aren't we? If we suddenly start to take back the power that we rightfully are entitled. But yeah, the establishment, to want of a better word, is effectively shrinking our presence. So if we start taking back our presence, a lot of stuff can happen.
And it already is. I see it, and I realize I live in a particularly, designed world of my own. I designed my own world by starting the Kuel Life platform and by concentrating on women in midlife and empowering women in midlife. And so I spend most of my days, most of my waking hours, talking to and working with women who feel the same way. And so, my viewfinder is a little skewed because I'm like, there's a lot of us. There's a lot of us. But you know what? There's a lot more of us that need to join. So if you're feeling, like you want to make noise, but you don't even know where to start or how to begin or where to go or what can I do or can I do anything? Listen, I started my business completely from scratch. No tech background. I had a business partner who passed away really early on, leaving me to do the whole thing by myself. If I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, the lady next to you can do it. The woman behind you can do it. It can be done. You just need to start. Just take that first step.
I love that message you're giving us too, because I think there's a lot of women who, for whatever reason, get to this point in their life and start to reevaluate, like, what is next for me? Maybe their children are leaving the nest, or, now starting to be more independent and less, giving you more options about maybe going back to work or changing direction. It might even be you're ready for a career change. And there's this sort of cloud over, is it worth it? Am I able to make progress and stuff? So what you're effectively encouraging us to do is go, hell yeah, like, let's use this time. You've got this amazing opportunity and a huge life hopefully ahead of you. So go for it. Oh, we've lost a bit of tech here. Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah. You might want to repeat that.
We cut out, do you think?
A little bit. I would just repeat that last thing so you could splice it in.
Okay. I love what you're saying around, the second half of our life and the opportunity that it provides, because for a lot of women, it becomes a part of their life when they're noticing they've got more opportunities. Their children, perhaps if they've been raising children, are now more independent, or they're going back to of leaving the home. They've got opportunities to maybe change career and wondering if it's worthwhile. And really what you're encouraging us to do is take this second half of our life and really value it and embrace it and use the opportunity that it presents us.
Yes, I have to say that I had a baby late in life. I wasn't sure that I was ever going to be a mother. No, actually, I lie. I was 100% sure I was not going to be a mother.
Wow.
I did not have any desire to be a mother. And then around 35, I started to go, am I going to regret not having a kid? Well, maybe, like, would I regret having one? Well, no, of course I won't regret having one. So I had one at 38. But I had already lived a pretty big life. I'd had my own marketing PR firm in San Francisco and Bay Area in California. I had traveled around the world for a year. This was pre-smart anything, with like a compass and a pair of shoes or a pair of hiking shoes. And so I was okay with giving all that up to parent my child and to be the kind of mother that I wanted to be, because I'm an all or nothing kind of person. So if I'm going to do something, I give it 150%.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. But now I'm done. I mean, I'm not done. I mean, he's 18 and a half. He's going to college, but I'm done. I mean, he's cooked. I'm here now more to guide, and to offer advice. But at the end of the day, he has to make his own decisions and choices because I can't make them for him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So what am I going to do? I'm not going to sit in the corner waiting for him to come home for Thanksgiving. No, that's just not me. So I am so excited about the rest of my life. I'm so excited because now I have met hundreds of women and virtually met hundreds of women. But when I can start traveling again, I'm definitely doing a road trip and meeting physically meeting all these amazing women, because I want more conversations. I want more connections. And together we are making a change for midlife women and beyond. The paradigm, we are helping to shift the paradigm. And to me, that's magical work. It's not even work. I love it. It's the way I want to live my life.
I love also what you're sharing around we have choices about who we want to. And like you said, you've kind of skewed your viewfinder to a group of people that, inspire you and breathe life into your sort of future. And I think that's, a really great message for all of us to take away in any area of our life. If it doesn't light you up, or if it doesn't actually, you're noticing that people around you aren't thinking your way, well, you can make choices and you can meet people virtually. It's amazing these days how effective it can be. Jack and I met online. So how, this is a way to extend and really, bring forth some really exciting things into your life, whether it's around this age group or different topics and all sorts of things. One of the things I think people get really fearful of is saying their age. You notice as people have another birthday, they're like, roll their R's, won't tell you what I am. Or, so I'm proud to be 45. And I had a father who had me when he was 53. So age has always been for me just a number, not something that I should be scared of. Or he was riding around Vietnam in his late 80s, and there wasn't this sort of ceiling on what was possible because of age. So I guess I'm a bit curious about us kind of talking around the numbers and why we're sort of scared of numbers and just aging in general, I guess. Not necessarily specific to women, but how do we encourage people to sort of feel that they can be whatever they want to be at the age? It's their choice.
I think that is changing. I even earlier today or earlier in this interview, when I went to say how old I was, I goofed around and covered my mouth and mumbled. But then I said, I'm 56. Because, there's something about, I'm like, what? How old am I? What? How is that possible? Because
you feel 18, don't you?
I do. Yeah. That's the crazy part. And I think the reason that I have trouble with the number is because I inevitably do math when I look at that number. And I know what a lifespan is. I know I'm not living to 112. I mean, I know that to be true. And so when I look at the number and I feel like I'm 25 or 30, and I feel like I have the whole, an infinite infinite road open to me, and I'm healthy, and I have, you know, more ideas than time in the day to get them all done. And so, you know, there's a lot of things that are still left to figure out and conquer and explore and enjoy. So when I look at the, and if I don't think about the number, then I'm okay. But if I look at my number and I do some math, I'm like, crap, you know,
Time's running out.
yeah,
Yeah.
realistically, you know, how much longer do I have? Am I going to have to start choosing? It's not an infinite menu anymore. I'm going to have to start prioritizing. And then, you know what I mean? But when you're 20 or 30, you don't think that way. You think
You got a whole
that,
life ahead of you.
yeah. And we still have our whole life ahead of us. It's just that when you do the math, it's not as big a number as I would like it to be. And not just it's just because I'm having a lot of fun and there's a lot of stuff I want to do.
And I guess too, like you alluded to in that answer, that there are things that maybe, I don't know, your physical body will limit you from, that when you were 20, that wasn't a consideration. Like I need classes half the time, you know, so there are things where you just have to go, got to remember those a bit more often now, and those sorts of things. Or yeah, but age is something, I guess, again, just us talking about it, it's like if you can drop it in a conversation and not be ashamed, just notice the shame and the feelings that come up when you mention someone's age or your own age. And I think if we can all be aware of it, because awareness is really key, isn't it? Once it's there, you can sort of look to changing it or notice. Yeah.
And those glasses that you need every now and again, you might as well get used to it, sister, because you're going to have I have like these all over the place. They're just everywhere. They're just, I mean, I might as well buy them in bulk and throw them around the house, just in random places, because I can't see anything close up anymore. Nothing.
Yeah. I'm a bit like that. And then they break and they're like, oh no, I'm down to like one pair, quick. Okay, great. I know time is of an essence for you too. So Jack, you know, is there something that we haven't really touched on that, you know, is really pressing in this space that you really feel like we need to have a conversation about in terms of aging for women, or, you know, this life stage that many of us are in?
You know, I can't think of anything. I mean, the only thing I would say is that, you know, empower one another, be good to one another, allow every woman to age the way she wants to age. Because if we start shaming one another and infighting, you know what I mean? Like, we need to be a collective force. We don't need to be infighting. And that's what people want, right? Because then we're not as strong. If the women who have gray hair start to not want to be with the women who color their hair because, you know, they're part of the patriarch or whatever, you know what, really, you know, let every woman age the way she wants to age and empower that and be okay with it. And just try to understand where someone else is coming from rather than immediately start with your viewfinder, because everyone has their biases, and everyone jumps to conclusions immediately. I mean, that's what and in a lot of cases it's good, right? I mean, it's short code, helps us make decisions faster. There's a lot of good things that come with making assumptions and jumping to conclusions, right? I mean, but when it comes to human connection and this sort of new territory of aging and pro-aging and fighting back ageism and pushing equality, don't make assumptions. Don't jump to conclusions. You don't know what she's going through. You don't know why she's decided what she's decided. You don't know. So ask. Be curious. Don't be judgmental. Be curious.
I think that's fabulous. Don't be judgmental. I mean, that's a good reminder for all of us generally, isn't it? And to try and put yourself in someone else's shoes, or even just that awareness that you can't be in someone else's shoes. I've actually heard recently that, you know, if we actually were to be in someone else's shoes, we would be making exactly the same decisions that they're making. You know, it's not like, well, I think that's a good thing or a bad thing. If you were in their shoes, had walked their life, seen it from their perspective, you would be doing exactly the same thing. So that's sort of a good reminder too, to just, but I really love that, this idea that if we actually embrace each other on their own journey and know that they're doing the best they can, and sort of, yeah, like you said, lift each other up, we can all soar to higher heights together. If we're all sort of infighting and making judgment about other people, how that's sort of dispersing our energy, really, isn't it? So it's brilliant. Perhaps you could tell people how they can connect with you. So we did mention the Clubhouse, but maybe go through it again, and your platform, and what are the best ways that they can follow you?
So you can follow me. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Clubhouse, I'm on LinkedIn, you name it. And you can find me through the platform as well, which is kuellife.com. So it's Kuel Life, Life.com. And you can send me an email through that platform if you want. You can if you're on Clubhouse, I'm at Kuel Life on Clubhouse. Follow me, join my club, my Second Act Sisters Club. You can join our conversations at 3 p.m. or 6 a.m. for you Aussies. But listen, I have women in there from all over the world that join, and I've had women from New Zealand and Australia. I guess I just didn't know it was so darn early for you, but
that's so awesome.
Yeah, but I invite anyone, and anyone who thinks they want to be more present in the space and wants to make more of an impact, and they're interested, please let me know. I'm always looking for collaborators for Kuel Life. That platform, yes, I built it, but it's not mine. It belongs to the Kuel Life community. Right now, I mean, at the beginning, I wrote everything that was on that platform. And as of today, I think I have 35 women experts who write on topics that are relevant to us in midlife and beyond. There's room for 35 more, 40 more, 50 more, because there can't be enough of us talking about what we're going through and supporting one another. The more, the merrier. So if that's something of interest to anyone in your audience, just reach out to me and we can chat about collaborating. I'm always open to collaborating with cool women.
Oh, it's so good. I love it. I love that you're, providing us an opportunity to learn more from those 35 women and other connections that you're making in Clubhouse, and encouraging us to be comfortable in our own skin, whatever age that is.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And thank you so much, Penny, for having me today. I'm glad we kind of figured it out. The time zone change. Holy cow.
Yeah, it was a bit of a head spin, but we made it. So super grateful, really excited to continue to see where this conversation can go. It's really emerging and
I have a quick question though. How was Thursday? Because I'm still living it, but you've already lived Thursday.
It's fabulous. We're definitely cutting edge over here. We're a bit ahead of everyone. Yeah, Thursday worked out well. Yes. So it's Friday morning here, as I recall.
I know, it trips me up, and it's Thursday afternoon here, and it's weird, right? Because we're on the same planet. It's just
yeah, the sun's in a slightly different spot. It's so great. Thank you so much, Jack. I look forward to connecting soon.